Watch this. Watch this. I'm going to show you. Just let me take you personal real quick in my life. October 2006, my God calls me out of what I was doing. I thought I was living my dream, right? He calls me out. He speaks a word. I never heard it before like this in my life. And yet he gives me a promise. And I'm worshiping him, right? It was good times. Life hadn't hit nothing hard yet because I just heard his heart towards me. He called me out. And I put my belief in his word. In October 2006, you think I'm playing with you. I called my wife up and said, I'm done. And I walked out the job that I was doing that day. It wasn't even another question. Like, I ain't going to start the next morning and thinking about it. I knew my God had called. I knew the timing was right. And we hit the trail. As I was leaving, they said, what you going to do? I said, I'm going to preach. Listen to me. I never preached a day in my life at this point. But I knew what he had called me to, right? Little did I know that was the easy time. But the word was given. And it was living and was active. And all of a sudden the hard times come, right? The things you can't figure it out. I'm supposed to be going preach. Now I'm working for a farmer, right? Barely making ends meet. But I know my God spoke to me. Tell me these Israelites didn't go through the same thing. As soon as Moses showed up, as soon as they believed in worship, all of a sudden their misery that they were now worshiping in, it just doubled, right? Because they used to be slaves making bricks, but now they got to do it with no straw. Now it got really hard. And instead of believing and worshiping, now they're just murmuring and complaining. They're cussing Moses out. Like, what you doing here? Why are you making this harder for us? And Moses got to go to God and be like, what are you doing, God? And God's like, I'm working my plan here. You tell them boys to keep trusting. And God sent plague after plague after plague, and he only made it worse for the Israelites all along the way. What was he doing? He was trying to get belief refined into faith. Because don't you understand? If you only have belief and those trials hit you, you're going to burn up. It's going to burn up or burn out. You know what I'm saying? You ain't going to be able to withstand the heat. All you're going to do is murmur and complain. Where you once worshiped, you are now going to be asking God, why? Some of y'all even going to turn out and walk away. These boys tried turning back so many times. They wanted to go back to Egypt where they were slaves. They were good with that. At least they knew where their paycheck was coming from. At least they knew where their meal was coming from. At least they could provide for the family, right? But when it got hard, everything changed. And I know you like me. Some of y'all got a promise of God in your life. Some of y'all heard his voice in your heart and you dared follow and stepped out, and it's tough right now. I understand. I've been there, done that. We still in it. Watch this, baby. I'm about to show you some stuff. 9 years goes by, right? We left. We knew God called us out. We ain't seeing nothing of his promises. Nothing of it. We walking. He didn't take us the shortest distance. I promise you, he ain't going to. It always costs more, always takes longer, always, always, always. Because that fire that he needs to test you in, that he needs to put you through, ain't there to burn you up. It's there to refine you. It's to make your faith shine and grow and glow. You want to be a light? That's just how it's done. That faith got to glow into a flame that other people can see, that you can encourage with. Could you walk through a little something? You know what I'm saying? So 9 years passed by, I ain't seen hide nor hair of God's promise in my life. We doing a little something here, little something there. We catching glimpses of it. And ooh, tell me God ain't good. Because along the way, he keeps you in it by giving you glimpses of his greatness. He did these guys. The whole walk through that desert, he gave them glimpses of his goodness, right? Oh, you thirsty? Patah! Water from a rock. Oh, you want some meat? You not satisfied with this manna from heaven you ain't ever seen or tasted before? I got you, quail. Standing knee deep in it. They caught glimpses of his greatness. Not that they hadn't through the plagues of Egypt, right? But he continually led them. Pillar of cloud by day and fire by night. They caught glimpses. And those glimpses will keep you hungry. If you want what he got for you. I'm just being real with you. Sometimes we get glimpses and we turn back. We don't really want what we think we want. You know what I'm saying? God gives you a promise and you're like, yep, God, I want that. And then it gets hard, but you got the glimpse of it and you turn and bounce backwards. Why? Because you don't really say you want what you really want. Everything changes when it gets tough, when you're gonna have to fight for it, when you're gonna have to endure for it, when it's gonna take longer than you ever dreamed. 9 years, I ain't seen nothing, and then all of a sudden, my God gave me a glimpses of glimpses. You see, what he called me out to, I've never met a man that's done it. Never, not in my whole life. I've read about it. I've seen video footage of other people doing what he has called me out to, but I've never met a man in person doing it. I've never seen it in action, right? I just knew my God spoke and there was power behind that, and I was gonna stand with him. I didn't know how, I didn't know when, I didn't know where, but we are going to see what our God could do. I knew it couldn't be in my ability, and then in the most obscure circumstances, everything aligned, and I find myself in the very inside the inner workings of a ministry doing exactly what God has called me to do on the scale that he has called me to do it in. He gave me a glimpse. I'm talking from the studios to the campaigns to the financials to the ins and outs. He showed me, right? And he showed me on a level of greatness, not mediocrity, not the less. He showed me exactly what he put in me 9 years earlier, exactly what he told me. Did he not do this to the Israelites? I'm going to give you a land flowing with milk and honey. Moses, take him to the edge of it. Give him a glimpse. And you see if it's not exactly what I told them it was. And Moses sends him out. We're about to read it. And this is how good God is. He is not leaving you wandering in the desert of your life forever. He is going to bring you to the point of giving you a glimpse of it. Not just once, he'll do it more than once, because I have had several of these things happen in my life, right? Just enough to keep you, do you really want what God says you should have? Like, you determine, do you want it or not? And I saw that day and I said, oh my God, you are so good to me. This is what I want. Like, I'm just being for real. This is what I want. I don't want anything else. This is what I want. I don't want to go do it like they doing it. I don't want to do it like they do. I want to do it just like this. This is what I want. Only because this is what you want, and you're so good to show me a glimpse of it. I determined in my heart then and there, we're going to do anything and everything we got to do to get this.